On this episode of the Josh Zodiac Podcast, we have Mr. Scuba Steve joining the show. And with that said, we will talk about Heel Rock and the promo he cut on Cody and the aftermath and how we feel about that leading up to WrestleMania 40. We talk about Sting retiring and how we feel about that and reminisce a little bit about his career. And then we talk about if you were going to retire from professional wrestling and you had one match, who would you pick from any era of professional wrestling? And we get off topic talking about All Content Entertainment and their PLE this past weekend, Sun, Sand, Bitches, and Suplexes. And we also have some technical difficulties that the host fucked up. But then again, that's what happens on live broadcast. This is the Josh Zodiac Podcast. And hello again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Josh Zodiac Podcast, a podcast about wrestling, pop culture, music, and whatever the fuck we want to talk about.
Boobs.
Joining me today, as always, is my colleague, my commentary partner for All Content, Mr. Ben DeLeon. How are you today, Mr. Ben?
I'm well. I'm recovering. I didn't even wrestle, and I'm recovering.
Understandable. And finally joining us on the podcast is none other than Mr. Scuba Steve. Mr. Scuba, how are you, sir?
I'm good, but I like how you make it seem like I haven't been here for multiple episodes when this is barely the second episode.
I know.
Well, you've been here for half.
I've been here for half.
You got a 50%.
Yes.
You was a 500 batting record right now.
Yeah.
Well, you know that still gets you in the Hall of Fame. But the first thing I want to talk about today is The Rock's promo on Smackdown on Friday night. Did y'all catch what he said to Cody Rhodes?
I finally got to see it because I did not get to watch it live on SmackDown, but I did watch it on TikTok today, and the slap that Cody Rhodes gave him, the entire bloodline felt that fucking slap.
Well, he had to give him his receipt. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
for the, Rock slapped a taste out Cody's mouth, and he just freaking returned the favor. So,
I think I do love the way that Seth interjected and was like, basically, you're having a midlife crisis, and
you're 51.
you had your
That was pretty
time.
funny.
You had your time to shine. This is our time, essentially. You had three of the biggest, entities in WWE in the ring, and The Rock.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I don't get me wrong, like The Rock is great, but we wanted The Rock and Roman last year.
Right.
That was something that we wanted last year. This year, it's past that point, and so I feel him even being involved in any of this. Like, I know what they're doing. I know, they're letting them cook, and it's cool because it's just drawing more heat towards Roman,
Mhm.
but I do feel that the promo on Friday night was, I mean, dude, it was good. It was a solid fucking promo. What sucks though is that Fox refused to let them go past their time.
Yeah, I read about that.
And so there was supposed to be a brawl. There was supposed to be all these other things that occurred, but we didn't get to see it because Fox refused to let them go past their allotted time.
Why should they? Because they're leaving. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to a different network, so why would they let them get away with shit if it's not going to benefit them in the long run?
Well, yeah, but I mean, they're still under contract right now. So regardless of if they're going to another network next year, you still have obligations, to fulfill the rest of this year. They still made their money, for this year. So, I mean, I I don't see what the big fucking deal was. I think it would have been great, but it is what it is, and we'll see what happens at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that got me was the fact that The Rock went down the family tree, and it seems like everybody who has a beef with Cody always brings up Dusty. It seems like that's just the common thing. We got
Well,
to talk about Dusty. It's
you have to, because you have to remember how big of an impact Dusty Rhodes was. He wasn't just the American dream in the ring. He helped build a lot of people. A lot of the talent that we have in ring right now can be attributed to Dusty Rhodes. So bringing him up only makes sense, because not only, is his son keeping the legacy alive, how else are you going to get that jab at your opponent other than to bring up their dead father?
That's one way of to getting some cheap heat.
Yep. Which, for instance, last night, I know you weren't at the PLE, but last night, Dark Disciple went up against Marcus Ray, and in the promo that Disciple cut, he basically flat out said, "Your dad died to get away from you."
oh shit.
Yeah, and so Disciple came out with a reserve sign for Marcus's dead dad, and went up to Marcus's mom and was like, "Let me go ahead and put this right here on the floor. Perfect spot for him."
Wow.
Which it was, of course, planned. Marcus's mom knew, the family knew, but as Disciple was walking out after the match, I guess Marcus's aunt, which is the brother of Marcus's dad, or the sister of Marcus's dad, had the sign or whatever, and Disciple just kind of like shoved it in her face, and his uncle was trying to fight Disciple.
Oh, because he didn't know.
Yeah.
They knew though. They knew. Like Marcus went and told them that, but they got pissed off because Disciple shoved the sign in her face, which, understandable, but you knew what was happening. You knew he's a heel. Like that's what happens, and if you can't take it, then don't go to the fucking show. So we asked them to leave, which sucks because it almost ruined Marcus's moment. And, he deserved to have that moment. And even Marcus's mom said, like, "You're not ruining this for my son. Like, you need to leave." So, and it was, I mean, but when you take shots like that, you gotta let people know, because people are going to get, heated. And I'm pretty sure they run that by him. They run that by Cody every time. "Hey, I'm going to mention your dad, like, just FYI."
Yeah.
But you got to remember too, nobody's ever said anything bad about Dusty.
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
They bring him up, but they've never said anything bad about him.
Yeah.
It's always bringing him up in the promo, but saying all this good shit, so it's like, are you really, what's the angle here? Because even like when Cody brought up, the bloodline and and The Rock's grandfather, he didn't say anything bad. And that's what I didn't get, because it made no sense. I could have understood if Cody had said something bad about it and The Rock, got mad, but I don't know. That promo didn't really make any sense to me, like when The Rock first slapped him, because Cody didn't say anything disrespectful. He didn't say anything bad. He just said, that he'd be disappointed in you, but it wasn't anything, I think, that warranted the storyline that we're getting now.
For me, it was, before we move on to the next topic, for me, it was the fact that Rock brought up his sister and his brother, who are both a lot older, a whole generation older than Cody. And they're going, "You want to know why they're older? Because you were a mistake." And I'm like, dude, that is just straight heat.
Yeah.
And I'll say it now. I love The Rock. I've always been a fan, but heel Rock, I love even more. Heel Rock is the best.
Heel Rock is fucking legendary, man. But I just feel like his promos are lacking. And we're
They're
not
what they
getting
used
that.
to be.
Exactly. They're not that full force heel rock that we're used to, but
Yeah.
because he's Hollywood, he's still making movies, he's still doing stuff. He's, part of the board of TKO or whatever, so he's not gonna go too far like he used
Yeah,
to
he's got
back
too
in the
much to
day.
lose to try to cross that line or tiptoe, over it the way he used to, So
Yeah.
it'll be fun to see how he does that and still maintain, how he plays his heel role and maintains a level of professionalism that won't come back to haunt him like later on. And how people bring up like old promo stuff and people still bringing up the whole May Young, with the hand and all that, like when Vince having people crawl and bark like a dog and shit. So, well, amongst other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we actually saw on TV.
We're talking about you, Brock Lesnar.
Did you hear Brock might be coming back?
He is coming back. Apparently they didn't find anything condemning, which I never understood the heat from the get-go on that, because in the shit that was listed in the in those text messages, yes, Brock was named, but it says in the text messages he never showed up. He never showed up for that appointment that Vince had scheduled him because he had got too shit-faced the night before.
But he agreed to it, though. I mean,
he did but that don't mean shit. If I agree to go do something, but then I don't go show up and do it, I still didn't do it. Just because I say, yeah, I'll go do that, cool, but then I don't go, you can't condemn me for doing something that I didn't do.
That's going to get a lot of heat in the backstage, not from just the officials, but also the talent. But moving on, recently, someone that we all grew up watching, Sting, had his final match and is now retiring. Now, this will be a topic we'll get into later. I was never a WCW guy, but I did see some of his stuff, and I was curious what y'all thought about him finally retiring after, I think it was 40 years of wrestling.
It's sad to see him go. He's always been one of my favorite wrestlers, even when he was Surfer Sting. And then when he came out as Crow Sting, like it just elevated that character even more. I'm sad to see him go, but he had an awesome fucking run.
Yeah, he did.
And I'm glad that he got to go out on his own terms.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't retire because he was injured. He didn't retire because he couldn't find anywhere to work. He retired because he did what he came to do. His time was up, and he ended it great. And I think the fact that his sons were able to share in that with him was actually really cool too.
Yeah, it was, and it was weird because I was like, how did they get somebody that looks so much like him? And oh shit, yeah,
yeah.
But I remember watching him back in the day, like in WCW. Well, actually, was it a little bit before that with the Blade Runners?
Oh yeah,
when he was teaming up with the Ultimate Warrior. And,
Yep, that's right.
So then, like I said, when I saw him coming over here, I was like, oh wow, like I remember this dude. And then watching him become Sting and watching him with his series of matches with Ric Flair when he finally captured the belt, and then the whole locker room emptying out and lifting him up over his shoulders and stuff. And I thought, because back when I was a kid, that once you won the title, that was like you're the best and everything. And then later on, when Flair won it back, I'm like, well, he can just go get it back, right? Because he beat him before and all this, and like I didn't understand at the time. So yeah, that's how long I've been watching. Like,
yeah, I was going to bring that up. That him and that Sting and Warrior actually were tag team partners. They came in together, and
yep.
Of course, we all know how Ultimate Warrior's life the day after WrestleMania, ironically enough, giving his own eulogy.
I think Vince poisoned him.
Yeah,
you think so?
you know, with all this shit that Vince being accused of, it wouldn't shock me if it came back to say that, oh yeah, Vince also killed the Ultimate Warrior. It wouldn't shock me.
You know,
But
have you ever seen the movie? What's that movie? Oh my God, The Interview. I think it is with
James
uh
Franco,
James Franco and
yeah,
fucking Seth Rogen. Okay. So you know how when he shook his hand and he had the little fucking litmus paper, he was supposed to have that little paper that had the fucking ricin in it.
Hmm.
That's what
mm-hmm.
Vince. That's exactly what Vince did, bro.
Wow, that was a reference out of fucking left field. It really was.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I'm going to transition over to the Monday Night Wars. And were you team WWF before the E came into play, or were you team WCW? What about you, Sir Ben? Which one were you?
Honestly, I was probably watching more WCW at the time, um, just because like I said, I remember the transition from um, the NWA into WCW, so I thought like I was a part of something special. So watching WWF was kind of like a little bonus for me. And then I started watching more of that, but I would still always go and make sure that I watched WCW. So I was channel surfing back and forth, but I was always probably like, I would consider like I was watching WCW, switching over to WWF, not the other way around, if that makes
Mhm.
any sense.
Yeah, it does. What about you, Scuba?
See, I was the reverse. I was watching Monday Night Raw and switching to Monday Nitro during commercials just to see what was going on. And then it got to the point to where I was so invested in both that I would tape WCW in the living room and then watch Raw and then watch it as soon as, I was done watching Raw. I'd go, you know, and then it went like that for a long time because, my friends and I were really just hardcore fucking wrestling fans. And I mean,
Mhm.
the Monday Night Wars were, now granted, WCW had a lot of cheesy fucking storylines going on. There was a lot of
Yeah.
cheese in WCW. Talking to you, Glacier. Um, but
Yeah, he brought up Glacier.
but I
Wow.
mean, but you got to think too, like at that time, Mortal Kombat was fucking huge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
So it only made sense to have a character that had, these kind of weird fucking things going on. And I loved both of them so much. So it's not like I was a Raw guy or a Nitro guy. I love them both for different reasons. Who didn't love tuning into Monday Nitro and seeing the Nitro girls?
Oh
You
yeah.
know, you didn't get that on WWF. You
Kimberly.
know,
True. True.
Hey,
You're not
and
wrong.
so
real
I mean,
quick.
and the writing styles were so different. The writing styles were so different on each show that I mean, it was just crazy what you were gonna see.
Well, there towards the end of WCW, Vince Russo was just talking out of his ass, and
Oh yeah, definitely.
the finger poke of death, which some people say is the night that Nitro died, because it was like Hulk Hogan's like, this is why this company's going into shit, brother, because of bullshit like this, and then
Yep.
they ended up giving the title right back to Hogan, and that was my big complaint about WCW at the time, is that Hogan held the belt for a good chunk of that time. On WWF, you had people like Mankind, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. You had big name guys that were fighting for the belt, and they didn't hold it for very, very long.
Well, remember
And
Hogan had creative control on his contract, so that was
and it's
part of that. That's why they
Yeah, that
don't.
was a huge part of it.
That's why they don't do that anymore. Like no one gets creative control anymore. Um, I think that's a lesson that both companies learned from that deal. But I was gonna say earlier, speaking of weird characters like Glacier. Remember when I think it was WWF had a character that supposedly like Spider Man, and he would shoot like streamers.
Yeah. Do you also remember the WWF characters that were fucking Ninja Turtles?
Ninja
No,
Turtle.
I don't remember
I
that.
don't remember.
You don't
those.
remember the Ninja Turtle? My God, there was 4 dudes,
Hold on.
or maybe it was 2. What were they called? They weren't called Ninja Turtles. They were called something else. Let me see.
You're gonna look it up right now.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. They were called the Toxic Turtles.
Oh my god.
Let me see if I can share my screen. It was so bad too. Like they were horrible looking, but like I said,
Oh my god.
WCW wasn't the only one doing stupid shit, you know.
And I
Why
thought
can't
the
share my screen?
gobbledygooker was bad.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That is horrible.
Dude, you know
The
one of my
Toxic
favorite
Turtles.
characters. One of my favorite characters. And I don't mean this ironically. I mean like legit. It was one of the most entertaining characters. Was Gilbert.
Oh
Yeah,
my god.
Gilbert was funny. I thought that was a really good like slap in the face to WCW.
Or when they had the fake Diesel and the fake Razor Ramon trying to
Mhm.
compete, but that was just like a desperate cry at that point, you know. But for me, the day that WWF got competitive was the night that Stone Cold won the King of the Ring, and then cut that sick promo talking about Austin 360 and says, "I whooped your ass."
Yeah.
That was the night the Attitude Era was born. Anything prior to that was just, it just was garbage, so to speak. Everything after that is when pretty much the attitude changed, and WWF started to slowly move up, move up, move up, move up. But again, WCW being the arrogant pricks that they were, the night Mick Foley won the title, and they said, "Oh yeah, by the way, Mick Foley, Mankind is going to win their title. That'll put a lot of butts in the seats." And then everybody, including myself, because I was in the Navy at the time, we were watching WCW. We went right back to WWF, and we're like, "How? It's cool that it happens, but how is it going to happen? There has to be something going on that, and then complete and total chaos breaks out.
Yeah.
Stone Cold comes out, does what he does, and the only complaint I have about that night is that Jim Ross wasn't commentating. It was freaking Michael Cole. If it had been JR, it'd have been so much better.
Okay. One of my favorite moments was when I think it was The Rock used a forklift to put Mankind on a pallet, whatever, and hold him down
Yeah.
for the pin,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And that's how that title changed hands, and it changed hands for like weekly or something.
Mhm.
Like,
or that I Quit match that Mankind had with The Rock, where The Rock just decimated Mankind with chair shots to the face. It was just unreal. Yeah. Since Mr. Scuba was wrestling last night, I'm going to ask him this question first.
Okay.
And this is anybody in professional wrestling. Oh, we have a baby on board. We have a baby on board. For those that don't know.
Sorry about that. That was Miss Charlie.
Mr. Scuba's got a daughter named Miss Charlie, and she's what, 10 months old now?
She is 10 months old on her way to being 22.
Well, if you had to wrestle your final match with anybody in professional wrestling history, Scuba, who would it be?
Bray Wyatt.
Wow, that was a quick answer. Okay.
I mean, the character, you know what I mean? The allure, you know. I kind of, like I said, he's a very big influence on when I created Lord Draven, this variation of Lord Draven, and I just think if I were to have my last match with anybody in wrestling history, it would have to be him. I think it would be a hell of a fucking match, and that's one person I would not mind losing to.
I like that answer. What about you, Ben?
if I was wrestling, who would I wrestle my last match against?
Yep.
Kathy Kelly.
Great fucking answer.
Of course. Wow. What are you, Andy Kaufman all of a sudden? What the hell?
Hey, you know what? You got your you got your what do you call it? You got your priorities. I got mine.
So that's your answer. Kathy Kelly is your answer.
What would be what would be a better way to go? Get me in a thigh crank and let her just do her thing.
Jesus Christ. We're not on the recycled corn, dude.
No, I mean honestly, like I've always wanted to test myself against somebody um, that would like I would consider like an icon,
Mm-hmm.
and to me that would be probably Chris Jericho. And I think one because I know he would make me look good, and two because his freaking he's had such an influence on wrestling as a whole because he's been a smaller dude that has been up competing with the heaviest of heavies. So
Now, are you talking? Are you talking peak Jericho or Jericho now?
Jericho now because we're both broken down. So
All right.
it would be.
I was going to
fair.
say there's so many levels of Jericho you could pick. You could pick, the WCW version, the entry into WWF. You could do the list of Jericho. I mean, there's so many different variations of his character that he's reinvented over the years that you could pick.
Yeah, and he's always been relevant. I mean, ever since he came out, he's
Yeah.
done whatever he's needed to make sure that he stays relevant. And
Mhm.
I think that's awesome and something that people need to aspire to emulate. Pick his brain and see what you can do to because the guy's super smart, and the fact that
Mhm.
he's healthy and still doing it at such a high level just shows how smart he is. And he says that he has written down every match he's ever been in.
Really?
And I've never heard of any other wrestler who's done that. So he can
Yeah,
tell you,
you're
like,
right.
in my life, I've wrestled 100,000 matches, whatever, or whatever the number is, and and I can tell you where it was and who, who won, whatever. I was like, that's freaking insane, and that's like I said, something no one else has done. So to me, that like I said, Jericho is like another level as far as like the superstars you want to be like, because
Yeah.
he's cemented his place in history. So
Yeah, agreed. For me, my pick is kind of controversial, and you already know who it's going to be. It's Chris Benoit. I'm sorry, Benoit, in my opinion, is one of the best technical wrestlers we've ever seen. Despite what he did outside the ring, I'm not taking anything away from that. That is heinous. It's horrible. It sucked. It's shitty. However, when he was in the ring, he was a fucking badass.
He was.
The fact that he finally got a title, it took him forever to get there. But on the same night that Eddie Guerrero won his first title in WWE, Benoit won his.
yeah.
And I think that's kind of cool because they both came in together with the New Radicals right before the WCW invasion, which was a shitty storyline.
That's kind of what happened last night. We because Eddie and Chris were really good friends, and we had two really good friends win titles back to back. Now, which one of them's going to turn out like Chris Benoit? I have no idea.
Oh wow, that's
Your-
fucked up.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Well, you saw that Tommy and Marcus both had girls with signs with their names on them.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so there was one of them, had Merciless Marcus Ray, and the other one had Anthony Spike. And afterward, I asked him, I was like, who are those girls? He's like, oh, girls from work. I was like, which one's yours? He goes, neither. And I'm all like, so what's stopping you? He goes, we'll see about later. I was like, oh, that's my boy.
I like that answer.
It was, and not to get off topic, but I mean, we have to talk about last night. It was, I know it was the best turnout we've ever fucking had. The money that we made was way over than what I thought we were going to make.
Mhm.
We have enough money to pay for the next venue.
Nice.
I like
I
having it
was
there at the Galvan, dude. Like
it was good, dude. The lights
the
above the ring were
sound.
so fucking cool. The sound was great,
Yeah.
dude. It echoed so fucking loud in there, bro. I was kind of pissed I didn't fucking slam Mac, the way I wanted to,
Yeah.
but um dude, it was intense, bro. Like that suplex that fucking Disciple and Marcus did off the top or off, Marcus was on the top rope, Disciple was on the second rope, but that suplex, bro, that thing fucking echoed
Yeah.
through the entire building. It was so fucking loud in there. It was great. But I will say I was so fucking pissed off that the pros did what they fucking did last night. They broke tables, they fucking broke chairs, didn't fucking tell us that they were gonna fucking do any of those spots.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And I'm looking at Thabos and Jeremy. I'm like, this is on y'all. You fucking book these guys. This had nothing to do with me and Mac. So if they fucking want their fucking money, you two are gonna fucking pay it. Because that's fucking bullshit. So I don't know if we're getting the fucking deposit back or not, but it is what it is. But it was still a great fucking turnout there. Dude, the show ran so fucking smooth. Like complete. I worked everything the way I wanted it, the way I wanted it. I told them this is the layout. This is how we're going to run shit. Jeremy, this is what you're going to do. I don't want any fucking dead air. Perfect. It was perfection last night. I could not have asked for a better result than what occurred yesterday.
And I missed the entire fucking thing.
And you missed the entire fucking thing.
But you know what? I cannot wait to do commentary on it because the sooner they get that out and ready, the better.
It was a long show.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, and it was only 6 matches. Well, 7 with the Facebook Fight Night match, which is already done being edited. So we'll have to drop commentary on that, which was the reverse battle royal. But with sad news, I'll go ahead and let you boys know here that JXM did win the reverse battle royal. It's already all over Facebook. But unfortunately, his dad made him quit All Content Entertainment.
Well, for what?
Because JXM had a bruising on his elbow and had marks on his back from the hardcore match. And so basically, I didn't get to talk to his dad. His dad refused to talk to me. I think that's a little bitch move, if you ask me. But apparently, Mr. fucking Mayor of Rob sounds too good to have a fucking conversation. And basically, he talked to Thabos and was, man enough to fucking threaten Thabos with a lawsuit for abuse on his son. And I'm like, everybody had bruises. Somebody bit the fuck out of Joey Black, and we don't know who the fuck it was.
Are you serious?
Yeah, bro. He had teeth mark on his fucking titties, and we're like, who bit you? And he's like, I think Big Ed bit me. And Big Ed was like, I didn't fucking bite you. So there's a mystery fucking biter. We don't know who the fuck bit him. But dude, everybody in that match was fucking bruised. Everybody was fucking broken. Nobody got it worse than anybody else. And that's the thing with JXM is we know he's autistic, but we don't treat him any fucking different. We're not going to sit there and fucking baby him. He's one of us. He's part of the fucking team,
Yeah.
And if his dad doesn't fucking understand that, maybe he should go fucking watch his son. Maybe he should go fucking support his son in his son's dream instead of being a bitch and telling him he can't fucking do it. Maybe he should go watch his son do what his son loves to fucking do before making a fucking judgment and saying, oh, well, he can't be part of this. Fucking get off your ass and go support your fucking son. Go fucking watch your son live his fucking dream instead of being so fucking stuck up and having a stick so far up your fucking ass that you can't fucking do that. Like, oh, dude, it fucking pisses me off, bro. Fucking pisses me the fuck off.
I talk a lot of shit about him on commentary, but that's just the character. But
I know. And that's the same with me, bro. Like Lord Draven and JXM fucking can't stand each other. But you know what? As me, as part owner of the company, he's a huge fucking asset. And I told the pros that last night. I said, that kid right there, autism or not, that boy fucking puts on a hell of a fucking show every time he's in the fucking ring. It doesn't matter who he's going up against. He fucking sells the shit out of it. He does the thing. He works the fucking crowd. He is one of the best talents that we have in the company. I told the pros that last night. And for this shit to happen today because his dad wants to fucking be a whiny little bitch, like, that's fucking bullshit, bro. It pisses me the fuck off. And the fact that he refuses to talk to me. You want to go have a conversation with a fucking little 21-year-old who doesn't know shit about life, who can't sit there and fucking, have an adult conversation, but you won't have a fucking conversation with somebody who's closer to your fucking age. Granted, he's way fucking older than me, but I'm closer to his fucking age. Like, we could have had a legit conversation and I could have explained to him, hey, this is what your son means to us. Like, I understand your concerns, but let us work that out. Give us an opportunity to work that out,
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So
but it's kind of cowardice. It's kind of cowardice for him to talk to the 21-year-old in Thabos and not talk to the actual adult. That's kind of it's very pussy. It's very cowardice, and and that's a mayor. That's a politician in South Texas.
He's used to having people kiss his ass. That's why he doesn't want to talk to somebody who can stick up for themselves. Who can articulate what's going on. Usually, it's just here, do what I say, and that's it. So.
And I feel so bad because JXM doesn't have any say so. If anybody's fucking treating him different, it's his dad. Like, you're fucking hindering him from living a fucking normal fucking life by telling him, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. He can do it, and he does fucking do it, and he kills it every fucking time. Yeah, there's no guarantees what can happen anytime any of us step in that fucking ring. You know what I mean? But that's the sacrifice that we fucking make going in there for this. And I get it. You're scared that your son might get hurt. Cool. Guess what? I broke a fucking rib. Lazarus tore his fucking nostril. Fucking Gavin hurt his fucking ribs last night. Like, people get hurt. That's part of the shit. Yeah, it's scripted, but the moves that we do, and dude, the pros fucking trained the guys beforehand. Like they did legit fucking training with them. So, everybody was safe last night, but it looked so fucking good. And it just irks me that fucking, he's so selfish, bro. He's fucking selfish. And like I said, the fact that he will not have a conversation with me pisses me off even more. Like, oh man, if I were actually Lord Draven, I'd go shit on his desk.
Do one better. Remember that when he's up for re-election.
Well, I don't live in Robstown.
Doesn't matter. I'm sure you have influences out there. I mean,
I do. And Gilbert should have won. That's all I'm saying. The other guy should have won.
Yeah. So all in all, we were going to talk about something else, but we'll just keep talking about A. So we'll save that topic for next time. But for the most part, the show went just the way it was supposed to go. No real issues or
I had one complaint. There was no bitches.
There were no bitches.
I kept waiting for the bitches.
Oh, and I blame Stryker. I blame Stryker for there was one bitch. There was one there.
The Timu?
No.
The Timu bitch?
The Timu.
Timu bitch. Oh, my God.
I'm not going to be mean, but there was one young lady there that Stryker hired. I'm not going to be mean.
By you saying that implies
she wasn't an escort, but it wouldn't have been somebody that I hired for the PLE. Like I said, she did great, man. I mean, she was out there. She was taking pictures, and
said there were girls in the crowd that were hotter than that chick.
Yeah, well, and it just. Other than that, like it was good. It was great. A little foggy in there because for some reason, I guess the fog machine goes with the fucking music, and every time fucking music played, fucking fog machine would go off. So it was like smoky as shit, but it looked so fucking cool. It looked like an old like
school,
70s.
Yeah, old school.
Like an old 60s, 70s fucking venue, bro. Like it was great. It was fucking great.
The guy that I was sitting next to, Daniel, I think he's a friend of Joey Black. He we were like, dude, it was like hanging out with you, man. Like we were like cracking jokes and everything, like stuff that I was like, oh wow, this dude's cool. Like he was referencing shows and characters and everything that like I knew. You know what I mean? So I don't know, like if you heard, but like during Tommy's match, I yelled out "Sensu Bean," whatever. And like
I heard it from the back, but yeah, it was good, man. And I noticed during my match, and I don't know, like I really don't pay attention to the crowd much when I'm in there. I just kind of zone out. But I did hear people cheering for me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear anybody cheering for Mac. It was kick his ass, Draven. Kick his ass, Draven. I did pick him up, and I picked him up and threw him up against the fucking corner of the ring. And somebody yells out, "Why don't you do that to me? Kiss him."
What
And
the
I'm
hell?
trying not to fucking break character because fucking Mel fucking talking shit from the crowd. And she's like, "Why don't you do that to me?" Because I like picked him up and just like fucking threw him up against the fucking ring.
Was she drinking? Was it happy hour?
No, she was not drinking. She was there with Charlie. Look at her in the back laughing.
Y'all live in Corpus. Come on, stranger shit has happened. I'm sure.
Yes, it has.
Yeah,
But no, and we shook hands at the beginning of the match, whatever. And she was like, "Kiss him." I'm like, "I hate you so fucking." Like, I'm trying not to smile. Like, I'm trying to stay in Draven character. And I'm like, "You fucking bitch."
And
If
I just got a
gonna
text.
break me, it's you.
I just got a text from Trip McNeely. He said the people that were cheering for Draven were paid, so that makes sense.
Trip McNeely is a fucking piece of shit, and
Well,
I'm gonna fire him if he doesn't.
You can't fire him. He's under contract, sir. And,
I'm sorry. That was the old Ace that he's under contract.
oh, the old
with.
regime. Okay.
This is the new era of Ace. He has yet to sign a contract with me.
Oh. He just sent me a message. He's like, "Yeah, whatever. The only bitches at the show were Mayhem." So.
Oh, well, Mayhem. Every member of Mayhem got their asses handed to them last night, except for Maniac. Maniac was the only Mayhem member to come out on top because even I got my ass handed to me last night.
Yeah.
So that fucking steel chair to the back did not feel good. And I've taken chair shots before.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw, and I already knew that CJ was gonna be there, but when I saw it on Facebook, I don't know what it was, but there was the little spark that lit inside me. And I'm like, I gotta cut a promo, and I gotta tear Mayhem and CJ down. I gotta do it. And that's why I was like, but only if Scuba's okay, because I know you're in charge of the company now. So.
No, I don't give a shit. You're still part of the company. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm gonna pull heel rock fucking bullshit. I'm gonna talk so much shit. I don't care, and you already know that. What I know. I don't talk shit about Maniac, but I think Maniac's the only person that Trip McNeely likes on Mayhem. Everybody else can go, suck an egg. So.
Oh, speaking of, watch this shit. Let me show you that fucking suplex. Let me share my screen real quick.
And sorry for the folks at home listening to this. You won't be able to see what we're seeing.
Maybe
one day. Maybe
one day we'll do a video podcast. Go ahead and share my screen real quick.
Hang on, let me see it. Boom.
All right, check this shit out. Oh no, this is Joey. This is Joey jumping off the top rope.
And he got hurt.
No, he did not. He did not get hurt. But I was impressed with him. Is this one it? Oh no, that was him. Yeah, I was actually fucking impressed with him that he had the balls to fucking jump off the fucking top rope. Because I tell you what,
I had a little chat with him. I had a little chat with him before the event because he looked like he was struggling, and I gave him a little motivational speech. He actually messaged me today thanking me for it.
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is.
It's nice to be acknowledged when you give a good motivational speech.
Holy shit. Oh, God. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
I'm telling you, last night, Last night was a different fucking animal for all content entertainment.
See, I don't want to be that guy, but when you take a toxic person out of the creative, and you know who the fuck I'm talking about, I will not drop his name, Jeremy. You take that person out, you take that element of toxicity out, and your product improves by at least 30%.
All right, now let me show you my chair shot.
I saw the video.
Oh, did you see it?
Yeah, I saw
Hell busted.
Oh! God, that looked like it hurt. And then that weak ass chick shot the ground.
Yeah, you can tell who's who.
Here comes the roster.
Dude, it was so Mac and I were supposed to get back up and fucking basically fight everybody off.
Yeah.
But dude, I never wore that. I had never worn that gear before, right?
Yeah.
It was brand new gear that I had just bought. I'm never wearing that shit again. I got so overheated so fucking
I
fast.
said it looked like you were wearing a sauna suit.
It was like it's like pleather, like, and then the pants were too big, so I had to wear my fucking belt. Well, it's not a regular belt; it's like a little click belt. Well, it fucking broke, so my pants kept falling because the pants were too fucking big. Because when I bought them, I was way bigger, and they don't fucking fit anymore. So I was like, just fucking stay down, Mac. He's like, okay. But
yeah, I cannot. I don't know who's editing all that, and I hope they don't have the same fuck up from the last PLE.
No. So you know, and Jeremy has been the one that's been editing all the Facebook fight nights, all the TNT, everything's already been downloaded. Wrestling Tacos, they uploaded all their videos already, so Jeremy's already got a jump start on downloading everything from the PLE, from the hard cams. So all of that is in process right now. As far as the creative team, as we're gonna work on something to have multiple writers again, but final say so goes through Mac, Thabos, and I. So even if they come up with, oh well, this is the angle we want to work, if we don't like it, we're not gonna go with it. You know what I mean?
And I'll talk to you more about that after we're done with the podcast. I do want to ask you something about that. But I can't wait to do commentary because I already know half the people that already won, especially since Maniac called me today going, "Did you hear?" I'm like, "Yeah, I heard." And then he told me the story, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool." You know, and I even on the phone, because I wasn't there to announce, which I wanted to do, but I did the whole here and do all content champion, blah blah Maniac, but I did in that announcer voice for him, and he appreciated that. He was like, I wish you'd have been there. It'd have been even cooler winning if my brother had been there. I'm like, yeah, I get that, but job comes first.
I was kind of pissed at him because he won and then fucking left at the end of the show. I'm like, no, bitch, you got to stay and help fucking break down the ring. Like, I'm leaving because I have to go to work. Like, you can't just be champion.
Like, your night is over. Mine's just getting started.
Yeah, like, you can't just fucking win the title and just be like, peace, I got to go. And like, no, motherfucker. But he had a good reason for leaving.
Yeah.
But
you know what? I felt guilty because I left before the last match. I left right before or kind of when it started, whatever. And I was all like, fuck, should I stay and like actually help? And I was like, but wait, Tommy's the one who's like, nah, fuck it, I'm gonna take off. Like,
yeah. No, but they got everything done, and I'm super proud of them. Everybody worked as a fucking team. I wish I could have paid them, because while we did make money, we didn't make enough for everybody to fucking get a little something. But it's gonna work out that way eventually. Like if we with this show, man, I honestly think now we have our foot in, and Corpus knows that we came to fucking do the damn thing.
I think that's the difference too, is that the show wasn't in Kingsville. I mean, who the fuck's gonna drive to Kingsville to watch a wrestling show that's up and coming? If you're in Corpus, like, oh, it's a 10-minute drive. Who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
And honestly,
it went over.
I love the fact that it started on time. It didn't take forever to get going. There
Yep.
was there was
You're welcome for that.
there yeah, that's why I said thank you. There was enough of an intermission to where people were able to get up, get drinks. The venue, like, I mean, the only other complaint that I had was the bathroom situation. Like, the men's bathroom kind of sucked. So,
Well, like I said, that place has been there. It's a fucking historical landmark.
yeah,
My grandparents used to go to bailes there, dances for you, Chris, because I know you don't know Spanish.
I know what they are,
Whatever.
but
Anyway,
my audience probably doesn't know what it means. So thank
so
you.
my grandparents used to go to dances there back in the the 50s and 60s and stuff. So that place has been around for years. And the bathroom is very dated. There's one stall and then one of those long urinal
troughs.
Yeah. So did we lose Zodiac? He looks frozen.
Yeah, he looks frozen.
How do we lose the host? How do we lose the host of your own fucking podcast?
I have no idea. It said connecting, and I'm like, wow, this is fucked up.
Man, this
Such a noob move.
That AOL online, man. Like, I'm telling you, you gotta,
Yeah,
upgrade.
I gotta fix that problem. Like, y'all's video is not working, but I can hear y'all. So
see, and that's weird because you're moving. Everything's working fine on our end.
Yeah,
so it's you.
It's definitely me.
It's you. It's not me.
Well, I think with that little, and I'll edit that out later.
Nah, leave it in. Fuck that.
No, leave it in. All right, fair enough.
It's a live fucking show, bro. I love listening to podcasts, and when the fuck ups are left in, I'm like, yeah.
All right, it's real. But with that being said, we were going to talk about wrestling themes, but we'll get to that on the next episode in a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, we'll go to you first, Mr. Scuba. Do you have any socials you want to, or any podcasts you want to promote?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am your host with the ghost, the prince of the paranormal, the duke of the dead, Lord Scuba Cabra, a.k.a. Lord Draven, a.k.a. Lord Scuba Steve. And you can catch me every Monday night on the Gore and More podcast on the Project Louder Facebook, or if you add me on my Facebook, which is Lord Steven Scuba Steve Vasquez, I stream it there as well. Check out my paranormal podcast, Somewhat Supernatural. I totally almost forgot the name of my fucking podcast. I do have a new episode that I'm working on where Mel will be my guest. If those of you that don't know, my fiance is Mel. She is Persian, and so we're going to be talking about Persian, basically Persian cryptids, hauntings, things of that nature. I'm working on that right now. So that'll be the next episode of Somewhat Supernatural. And then be sure to follow All Content Entertainment on Facebook, YouTube. We have a bi-weekly show called Thursday Night Throwdown, and we have a show called Facebook Fight Night that we put out every 2 weeks. So if you are a wrestling fan, and I hope that you are listening to this podcast, be sure to give us a like, follow us. Started off as a backyard organization, and we still are very much a backyard organization. We film TNT in a backyard, but we have a wrestling ring and we put on events and stuff. So be sure to check us out. Benjamin, I'm not going to talk about recycled corn because, just know I am the co-host of Recycled Corn Podcast as well.
Assistant.
Fuck you.
You can follow Recycled Corn on Facebook, Instagram, and the app formerly known as Twitter. Just you want to search for us, just Google Recycled Corn and take a look for the ear of a corn with the headset on the black background. I am a professional speaker, people. If you want to listen to our previous episodes, you can find those on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and wherever fine podcasts are found. If you want to message us, you can do so at recycledcornpod@gmail.com. And that's it for me.
And as for the Josh Zodiac Podcast, we now have a page you can like on Facebook. I took care of that this week. It was a lot easier than I thought it would be. You can find this podcast on Spotify for podcasters, and on YouTube, and I'm working on Apple as well right now. And if you have any questions or topics you want us to talk about in a future episode, you can email the show at the Josh Zodiac Podcast, all one word, lowercase, at gmail.com. Again, for Scuba Steve and for Mr. Ben DeLeon, this is the Josh Zodiac. We'll see you next time. Make it so.